Hello, and welcome to my second video. Do I look a bit disheveled? I've had a hell of a week. While recording my last video, I discovered I have a nickel allergy. See this little connector right here that I had to cover with green tape? Yeah, bad. Who would have guessed? I'm gonna pop up a photo of what it did to me, so if you're squeamish, you might want to look away. I mean, look, I'm turning into a fucking squid, and I have to have my hand covered in Vaseline and topical steroids 24/7, so I had to buy these white gloves, and I only wear them on one hand, so now I look like Mickey Mouse doing a Michael Jackson impression. Oh wow, I do love Michael Jackson. I cannot believe I recorded myself doing that. The worst part is, this happened to my dominant hand, so no shaving for me, and before you ask, yes, I can only grow hair out of my chin. What I'm trying to say is my life is falling apart. And honestly, I can't think of a better time than right now than to cover a movie that's as equally horrifying as my disfigured hand. From the man who brought you such classics as Stripes, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and
Kindergarten Cop,
we get Junior, a movie about the Terminator getting pregnant. How so many people forget about this movie is beyond me. Ever since I saw it, it's been burned into my brain. And you know what? Hey, by the end of this video, it's probably going to be burned into yours too. The only place I could find it available for streaming was through YouTube for $5. Money well spent. And honestly, I'm okay with it because it led to me finding some fantastic comments that are going to get you just as excited for this movie as I am. I love the movie Junior, the full movie. Why does this have the same music of the Goonies? Yes, too funny. And science is cartwheel. I don't want you made this movie, but okay. If that didn't get you ready for an adventure, I don't know what will. So, join me. This movie just starts, by the way. There's absolutely no build-up. We're immediately on Alex, played by Arnie, looking real smart in his round glasses, if I do say so myself. He's reading a book alone in the library, as geniuses do, and he hears a baby crying off in the distance. Obviously, he goes to investigate. Someone just left a baby completely abandoned on a shelf, and that's still somehow less weird than what's about to happen.
You know, there's a baby here. There must be a mother.
Why is he saying his entire internal monologue out loud?
Ah, the baby. Ah, there must be a mother. Help.
This guy is just carrying an actively pissing baby all around the library, probably leaving a trail behind him. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of helpful. It'll lead the mother right to him. Also, this is a weirdly dead library. Where is everybody? Did they get raptured? Oh, Jesus Christ. Gotcha, bitch. That's 1,000 babies. We're starting with a fucking dream sequence. Get out of my face with that shit, Inception. Oh, and if you ever wanted to know how Schwarzenegger got so big, right here. That's all you gotta do. I'm gonna get fucking huge. So, after that debacle, we cut to 200 IQ Alex lecturing some students in his lab, and there's a lot going on here already. You see Alex walk in with this cocky little confidence, explaining a drug he's working on to his students, you know, to prevent miscarriages, setting up the plot, and he immediately decides to bully one of his lab assistants.
Just 2 drops. The body mistakenly identifies the embryo.
A miscarriage-prone female reproductive system is merely an extension of "you're a fucking idiot and no one here likes you," is merely an extension of the body trying to reject foreign matter. From here we get introduced to Danny DeVito, who's playing maybe the most busy person on planet Earth, a fertility doctor named
Larry. Hey, big day, huh? You nervous?
FDA? Piece of cake.
Hey, sign those plan documents again, will you?
All right.
I seriously have no idea how he ever gets anything done when he's constantly being swarmed from every direction like this. It's exhausting and honestly probably the most frequently recurring trope I've ever seen in a movie.
Hello.
Doctor, I'm ready to explode.
Oh, not here, you're not.
After all that setup for who these characters are, we just completely erase the need for any of it by going to an FDA meeting and hitting all of the exact same character beats straight into the ground. Just straight into the ground.
Economy of time.
Things seem to be going great at first. Alex is hitting absolutely all of his smarty pants talking points. And here comes Larry. What a goofball. He's going to get in the way. Did I leave my
This
oven on?
drug works.
Shut up! What are you doing?
This is an FDA hearing, not a telethon.
5 minutes into this movie, and we've already hit a time skip. And a time skip to Larry allowing a couple to fuck each other and watch pornos in his office, no less.
All the latest video cassettes, the current magazines. Give it to Louise when you're finished. I'm sure you'll be very comfortable. And just relax and enjoy it. That's the ticket.
I think they usually only, allow one person in the room at a time, but what do I know? I'm not a doctor.
Dr. Arbogast, your wife, I'm sorry, your ex-wife's in your office. He says he needs to talk to you.
He's in the office. You couldn't have done another take. This is a really progressive movie and all about men getting pregnant, but something tells me they weren't on the progressive pronoun train back in 1994.
I'm busy, Angela.
Well, I'm pregnant, Larry.
Really? You sure it's not mine?
I want you to be my doctor.
I don't know what kind of relationship Larry has with his ex-wife, but having her ask him to stare directly into the soul of her pussy while talking about a baby that isn't his? So strange. Now we cut to Alex, who has barricaded the doors to his lab and is packing things up. Meanwhile, Baines, who you might remember from the FDA meeting, very unenthusiastically knocks on the door.
Dr. Hess? Dr. Hess, this is totally unacceptable behavior. Open this door now.
Dr. Hess, this is totally inappropriate behavior. I'm so angry right now. So this is where we find out the FDA has decided not to approve a test run for their fertility drug.
Wicked bad news.
Baines, who is clearly going to be the villain of the movie, spits out a stream of exposition about how he doesn't really care because he's been assigned a new project anyway, a cryogenics project run by one Dr. Diana Redden. Oh, fuck! Jesus! Diana's just a wacky gal and rides this 400-pound metal box directly into her meet cute with Alex, potentially crushing his bones in the process.
Thank you.
That's nothing that's what you're...
Whoa, hey man, you can't just do that. There was absolutely zero consent, and his fucking kneecaps are probably shattered. Get off the guy.
Sorry.
No! Ow!
So you get it? It's funny, because that's his penis. From here, Diana starts typing into her, based on the sound effects, cash register, and reveals that she has a bunch of frozen eggs. Gee, I wonder where they're gonna end up.
I'm fine. Thank you.
No harm done.
No.
Frozen eggs, huh?
Yes. I call it the dairy section.
Diana gets a bit upset that she's displacing Alex from his lab, but not really enough to do anything about it. Larry follows Alex home to try and calm him down. That's not how you park, but he's entirely unsuccessful. Larry tries to talk him down from the street to inside his house, and then back to the street, and then to the airport, and then on to the fucking plane? How long have these guys been talking? Things are going absolutely nowhere for Larry in this conversation until he brings up the $108.4 million idea.
Remember Mo? The monkey? He went 5 months to term.
You mean to do the test on a man?
Why not? Are you allergic to anything?
To me? You're nuts.
Alex is apprehensive at first, but eventually he agrees. And they both somehow manage to get off the plane literally while it's taking off. Man, the 90s really were a different time. Much less strict air travel. I'd also like to point out that not once during this argument does Alex ever say that Larry should be the one to get pregnant. And maybe that's just a genetics issue. I mean, after all, Larry is as tall standing as Alex is sitting. Yikes. As they excitedly talk about the plan some more, Alex finally questions where they're going to get an egg. The answer? Well, obviously they're going to steal one, you big dumb idiot. What else would they do?
Okay. Who's the lucky one? Junior. Okay, Junior, let's go for a ride. Whoa!
Oh! Dr. Arbogast!
Dr. Redden, what are you doing here?
I don't know. Where am I?
How did Larry not notice her? There's 400 fluorescent lights just beaming down on top of her, and she's laying on top of a desk in the open. This scene goes on for way longer than it needs to, so all you need to know is it's that tired trope where a guy is very poorly hiding a secret, but the other character in the scene is so dumb that they just completely fall for it, and I hate it. After that torture's over, we go straight to Larry's office where they're getting ready to inject Alex with the egg.
Terrific motility. Strong swimmers, big load. Let's put a bun in your oven.
Huh. Weird. That's exactly what I say when I'm about to have sex with a girl. Wait a sec. Oh, and by the way, needle warning, I am pretty sure you're not supposed to brutally stab your patient with them. I think it's supposed to be more of a gradual sort of thing.
What the hell is wrong with you?
This stab actually punctures Alex's intestines, and he goes into a coma for 3 weeks, and eventually wakes up in the hospital like Rick from The Walking Dead. I really wish that was true, but clearly we're just in another dream sequence. This Russian supermodel, for some reason, enters the room and hands Alex his new baby.
Surprise, bitch! I was the baby the whole friggin' time!
Just kidding. You're not off the hook that easy. The reality is much more horrifying.
Mama! Mama! Mama!
That shit just activates the fight or flight response, doesn't it? And why did they only CGI the front of the baby? You can clearly see that the back of the baby is a normal baby. Come on, guys, try a little harder. Listen, we're only 23 minutes into the movie at this point, and I'm seriously going to have to stop showing you so much. But every single scene has some insane shit in it. Like, for example, after this dream sequence, Alex wakes up back at Larry's house. How did 4'10" Larry carry unconscious 6'2" Alex all the way back to his house without arousing suspicion from any onlooking pedestrians? I don't know. I have no fucking idea. And I don't think the director did either. We're now 4 weeks into the future, and it's time for Alex to start experiencing all the trademark symptoms of pregnancy.
I'm pregnant.
I'm freezing it.
My nipples are very sensitive. What?
My nipples, they feel like kind of...
Dr. Hess?
Oh, here she comes.
Excuse me.
Just what we need.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. So, Diana thinks Alex has a heroin problem and decides to confront him about it. But thank goodness Larry is there to save the day. He does exactly what he did earlier and gives maybe the worst explanation I've ever heard. But as usual, the characters in this movie have an IQ even lower than the chimps they experiment on, and Diana falls for it instantly.
It's a terrible, debilitating, relentless, kind of...
fatness.
Fatness. I'm gonna go get you some crackers because it'll head off trouble that's approaching. He's gonna be all right.
Yeah, totally not suspicious at all. Oh, and Larry also spits all over everyone. After Alex and Diana talk to develop their relationship a little bit more, we're back at Larry's house. His ex-wife shows up again to complain more about her fertility doctor, and eventually she reveals a member of Aerosmith knocked her up.
One of Aerosmith knocked you up?
What a lovely phrase, Larry.
This movie gets more 90s by the second.
Oh, excuse me. I'm a little shocked here.
Well, I think you're gonna have to deal with it.
I don't have to deal with it because we're divorced, remember?
It's not like I'm asking you to fix my car.
What? Yeah, you're right. That would be a lot more normal. Larry finally agrees to take her on as a patient for some reason, and the plot chugs along. Huh. I do that every morning and I'm not pregnant. And I do that every night. Oh God, wait, am I pregnant?
What's the matter?
She was Daddy's little girl.
Larry has to go meet with some pharmaceutical execs, and Alex wants to go with him.
All right. Okay, you can come, but don't do that thing with your eyes.
We can come?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, thank you, master. The pharmaceutical convention itself is pretty uneventful.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Basically, Baines almost finds out that they're experimenting with their drug on a human, and there's a lot of jokes about Alex being turned into a woman through the estrogen. Oh, and this. Ha! I'm getting real moist. Oh no! Hilarious. We can skip the rest of this scene. Thank God. Larry decides that their cover's going to get blown, and they already have all the data they need, so they should terminate the experiment tonight. Larry tells Alex to stop taking the expectane, and the embryo will naturally be reabsorbed back into his body. But uh-oh! Arnie's getting a little bit attached to his scary-looking nightmare baby.
I don't know if you're a boy or a girl. So I'll call you Junior.
Now we have yet another time jump where Larry immediately finds out that Alex never stopped taking the drug. Why drag that plot point out? Why create narrative suspense? That would be silly. You don't need that in a movie.
You're a guy, Alex. This is totally against the natural order. Guys do not have babies. We leave that to the women. That's part of the beauty of being a guy.
Gender roles, get it? Funny stuff. Stop it.
No, I don't stop it. I want my baby. Shh.
Have you thought of any names?
Junior, if it is a boy.
Uh-huh.
And if it's a girl, Junior.
They said it again. Twice.
Junior would be good. Junior's good.
Larry does an ultrasound on Alex and eventually comes around to the idea of him having a baby, but they both agree that they need to keep it secret. Oh, and Alex mentions he gets a lot of boners.
Yesterday, just scooping the middle out of a honeydew melon gave me a Steifen.
What? Oh, that's normal. I get them all the time.
Diana visits Alex because she's clearly falling in love with him, and why wouldn't she be? He's such a gentleman.
I was born in Jakarta and raised in England from the age of 5 in Kent. Summers in Cornwall. What you looking at?
Yikes. Well, that's okay, because Diana's a little bit of a freak herself.
Does my body disgust you?
What?
My body.
No, I mean, I like upholstery on a man. In fact, I was madly in love with my cousin, Trevor, for years, and he was very portly.
I honestly have no idea what the fuck is going on at this point in the film. Every time you think they reach the threshold of weird, they skyrocket right through that glass ceiling and just one-up everything. So, after that heated exchange, Alex and Diana obviously have to get down to business.
It's business! It's business time! That's what you're trying to say. You're trying to say, let's get down to business. It's business time.
Oh. You mean sex?
Yes.
Unfortunately, they get interrupted by Larry's ex, Angela, coming home, and Diana makes a hasty retreat. From here, we jump ahead to Baines ambushing the boys back at their house. He's getting a little bit suspicious of what they're up to because he realized expectane hasn't been tested on any of the lab monkeys in months, but they're still producing it. And where there's a supply, there's a demand. He assumes that they're hiding a human trial somewhere in their house and decides to snoop around a little bit. He finds what he's looking for.
Who's that?
Aerosmith.
You don't like their music?
Larry reveals he's still in love with Angela to Alex, and we never see Baines leave the house, so it's safe to assume he lives there now. We now jump to a dinner between Alex and Diana, where we have a bombshell dropped on us. That egg inside of our boy? You guessed it. It belongs to Diana. She froze one of her eggs because she was getting a little old and she was scared that she was never going to find the right guy, but lucky for her, the right guy stole that egg and injected it inside of himself.
And I'm not getting any younger, obviously, so I thought, well, I'll just save one just in case. It's in the dairy section, under Junior.
What did you say?
Alex gets overwhelmed with this revelation and abandons the dinner to confront Larry, who's currently finding out that his ex-wife didn't get pregnant from one of the band members of Aerosmith. She just got pregnant from their personal trainer. What a twist. Alex and Larry argue for a while, but then they get caught feeling for the little baby's kicks.
Larry?
I mean...
What's going on?
Why, nothing. What?
You were touching him. Oh, God. Oh, no. No. I can't deal with this.
Can't deal with what?
Haha, get it? She thinks they're gay, and that would be a problem, I guess? After that dose of problematic writing, we jump back to the university where Baines finally realizes that Alex is the one who's pregnant as he tries to explain himself for his outburst at dinner to Diana.
I'm pregnant.
Good explanation.
Diana doesn't believe him at first, but he eventually explains the entire situation to her, right down to the fact that it's her egg inside of his belly. And they say Junior like 15 times each.
Junior.
Oh, Junior.
Diana, please, don't be angry.
Even though Diana is obviously angry at this development, she still defends Alex when Baines shows up and physically assaults her, claiming that Alex and his body are now property of the university. Yeah, I don't think there were any contracts available in the 90s that made you the property of another human, but fuck, what do I know? I'm not a lawyer. Alex escapes the lab and jumps into a speeding car with Larry, who, for some reason, just happened to be nearby at the time and knew exactly what was going on. It's a plot hole. I don't know. I've come to expect them at this point. Alex and Larry have one last misogynistic exchange during their escape, and they eventually arrive at a resort for expectant mothers, and Alex is now dressed like this. Yeah, I don't know. Larry just happened to have those clothes in his trunk for some reason. They then check into the resort with Skyler from Breaking Bad and go on a transphobic tirade of talking about how Arnold doesn't look like a woman. Except, he kind of does. If I saw him on the street, I wouldn't really question it. He just looks kind of like a tall grandma.
Big.
Larry says his goodbyes to Alex and leaves to discuss their drug with a potential investor in Canada. And then we're treated to a montage of Alex participating in some expectant mother exercises. He also calls Diana to apologize a few more times, and she eventually shows up at the resort to talk to him after a short and weirdly poignant message to be appearing in this film.
You know, I think we have to dispense right now with the myth that some are born with the maternal instinct and others are not. The little girl tending her doll collection is no more a natural-born mother than the tomboy down the street.
Alex and Diana argue a little bit here because Diana feels like Alex is forgetting that this is her baby too. They go back and forth a little bit, and they eventually settle on raising Junior together. Check out this sweet ADR, by the way.
Wait! Can we just get one thing straight here? This is my baby, too. Don't you ever forget that.
I won't.
Bet you didn't know Arnie had telepathy. Just beamed that line directly into your brain. Now that we're this far into the video, you know this scene couldn't end without getting just a little bit weirder. Diana tells Alex that she can't have a baby with a man she's never had sex with before, so they go back to his room for some sweet, sweet pregnant lovin'. I absolutely hated that. Anyway, Larry finishes up his meeting with that pharmaceutical company in Canada, and they agree to come in as partners and repitch the drug to the FDA. Larry tries to call Alex and give him the good news, but he catches him just as he's going into labor, just in time for that third act high point. This causes a frenzy of everybody trying to get to him at once. Diana from the lab and Larry from Vancouver. They set up an emergency C-section over the phone with no anesthesiologist. Yikes. And then Larry somehow manages to make it back to the United States in about 5 seconds. That was the fastest international flight I've ever seen. Of course, this wouldn't be a third act without a little bit of tension. The resort is trying to force a doctor in to see Alex, and Baines found out about that emergency C-section and has sent the press to intercept them as they arrive at Larry's office. Uh-oh, are they gonna get caught?
I won't tell.
Oh, shit!
Luckily for us, they pull the old last-minute switcheroo and sneak Alex in through the back door. Crisis averted. Baines gets fired for misleading his higher-ups, and Larry almost gives his team a heart attack when they find out who they're operating on.
Get him undressed. Look at the belly on that guy.
All I'm gonna say is they have like 7 people involved at this point. There's no way this is staying a secret. As if all this pandemonium wasn't enough, wouldn't you know it? Angela's going into labor too. When will the hijinks end? When will it end? While this is happening, they're starting the operation on Alex, who has a very clear line of sight to the incision point on his stomach. Something tells me this isn't protocol, but whatever. They've already committed enough offenses to lose their medical license.
What's one more?
The delivery somehow goes off without a hitch, and Larry comes out to tell everyone the good news. He, of course, finds out Angela has gone into labor, so they go off into their own room to deliver that baby and to give Diana and Alex a little bit of narrative space.
Isn't she gorgeous? Daddy loves you.
Thank God she looks normal in real life. So moving along, Angela gives birth to her own baby in the other room, and Larry tells the little guy he's going to be his dad. I guess they're back together now. How romantic. You know, I wonder if Arnold and Pamela Reed knew way back when they were playing partners in Kindergarten Cop that just 4 years later they would be giving birth side by side.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Alex and Diana decide to stick with the name Junior for their little girl, presumably just to say the title of the film and annoy me one last time. And that's it. It's over.
Just kidding.
I already told you this movie tries to get one last weird thing over on you, so here's a clip of Arnold eating cake off a baby's foot.
You're supposed to eat with your hands, not with your feet.
There you go. Those kids need something to drink.
What an absolute nightmare of a film. I don't think it was made with bad intentions, it just comes off a little bit weird 27 years later. And upon watching the making of featurette, the cast seems to talk about a lot of progressive ideas for the time, so I don't really hold this against them.
The more secure you feel with your masculinity and being a man, the more you can allow yourself to let also the feminine side come out.
Regardless of the premise, this is just an all-around janky and kinda bad movie. It honestly amazes me that both Arnold and Emma Thompson got Golden Globe nominations for it. It must have been a slow year. The writing is hacky and the pacing is all over the place. Just like in this video, except Alan Reitman can and has done better, and I just haven't done that yet. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll post another video for you next week. If you can't wait that long, why not watch this one in the meantime? Bye-bye!